Oh my God, Jennifer, hold on. Victoria's voice dripped with mockery. You have to see this. The delivery guy looks like he walked through a garbage dump. She circled Marcus slowly, deliberately. Those shoes, are those held together with tape? That's actually disgusting. Don't they have standards anymore? I'm not signing anything until you go back downstairs and clean yourself up. You're tracking poverty all over this floor. She laughed, a sharp sound that bounced off the walls. Jennifer, I'm serious. His shoes are literally falling apart. How does someone even leave the house like that? Have some self-respect. Have you ever been mocked because of your appearance? You are about to watch the story of a selfless black delivery guy, a man who sacrificed his own comfort for others, a man who was mocked because of his broken shoes. But the end of the story reveals a shocking truth that will shock you about who the delivery guy really is. Kindly subscribe and hit the like button for more interesting stories. Also tell us where you are watching from. The sound of duct tape ripping echoed in the parking garage. Marcus Williams, 34, wrapped another layer around his left work boot where the sole had completely separated from the leather. His hands trembled, not from the cold, but from exhaustion. 16-hour shifts. 7 days straight. The rent was due. His daughter's medication cost more than his paycheck. And these boots, these falling apart boots, were all he had left. He grabbed the package marked Urgent Delivery, Penthouse Suite, and headed toward the elevator of the luxury Riverside Towers. The weight of the box pressed against his chest. Inside was a custom sculpture worth more than he'd earned in 6 months. His supervisor's words rang in his ears. One more complaint, Marcus, and you're done. I don't care about your situation. The elevator doors opened to the penthouse floor. Marble, crystal chandeliers. And there she stood, Victoria Ashford, 42, draped in a white designer pantsuit, phone pressed to her ear, diamond bracelet catching the light. Her eyes landed on Marcus's boots, the duct tape, the frayed laces. Her perfectly painted lips curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Oh my God, Jennifer, hold on. Victoria's voice dripped with mockery. You have to see this. The delivery guy looks like he walked through a garbage dump. She circled Marcus slowly, deliberately. Those shoes, are those held together with tape? That's actually disgusting. Don't they have standards anymore? Marcus kept his eyes down. Ma'am, I have a delivery for Penthouse B. If you could just sign here. His voice was steady, but his jaw clenched. He'd heard worse, survived worse. But something about her tone, the casual cruelty, made his chest tighten. He thought of his daughter Zoe, 8 years old, asking why Daddy's shoes look funny. I'm not signing anything until you go back downstairs and clean yourself up. You're tracking poverty all over this floor. She laughed, a sharp sound that bounced off the walls. Jennifer, I'm serious. His shoes are literally falling apart. How does someone even leave the house like that? Have some self-respect. The door to Penthouse A opened. Robert Chin, 56, building owner and real estate mogul, stepped into the hallway wearing a simple gray sweater and jeans. He'd been watching the security monitor in his apartment, watching everything. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes locked on Victoria. Victoria didn't notice Robert. She was too busy taking a photo of Marcus's boots. This is going on my social media. People need to know what kind of service we're getting. Look at this, everyone. This is what shows up at a luxury building. She held her phone up, angling for the perfect shot of humiliation. Ma'am, please. Marcus's voice was quiet. I've been working since 4 a.m. I have 12 more deliveries. My daughter is waiting for me. I just need a signature. His voice cracked slightly on the word daughter. He hated himself for it, for showing weakness, for letting her see that her words landed. Your daughter? Well, maybe if you spent less time making excuses and more time getting a real job, you could afford decent shoes. This is exactly what's wrong with people like you. Always playing the victim. Always expecting handouts. She turned back to her phone. No, Jennifer. He's actually trying to make me feel bad now. Can you believe it? Mrs. Ashford. Robert's voice cut through the hallway like a blade. Victoria spun around, her smile faltering. Mr. Chun, I didn't realize you were home. I was just dealing with this delivery situation. The standards have really declined, and I thought you should know. I heard everything. Robert walked closer. I've been watching on the security feed. Every word, every photo, every moment of what you just did to this man. Victoria's face went pale. I was simply pointing out that appearance matters in a building like this. Surely you understand. Let me tell you what I understand, Robert said, his voice dangerously calm. Marcus Williams has been delivering to this building for 3 years. He works 7 days a week. 6 months ago, his wife died from cancer and left him with medical debt that would crush most people. Victoria's mouth opened and closed. I didn't know. How was I supposed to know? Marcus stood frozen, the package still in his hands. Robert continued. You weren't supposed to know. You were supposed to treat him like a human being regardless. That's what decent people do. But there's more you don't know, Robert said, pulling out his phone. Marcus, do you remember delivering to Penthouse 3 months ago? Late night, emergency medical supplies. Marcus nodded slowly. My mother was dying. Hospice care. The pharmacy closed early, but you stayed 2 hours past your shift to find what we needed. You refused the tip I offered, Robert continued, his voice thick with emotion. You said, I know what it's like to watch someone you love suffer. Just help her rest easy. My mother passed peacefully that night because of you, because of your compassion, when you had every reason to be bitter about your own loss. Victoria's phone slipped from her hand, clattering on the marble. I was just... Robert held up his hand. You were just revealing exactly who you are. Someone who measures human worth by the cost of their shoes. Someone who kicks people when they're already down. Mrs. Ashford, you've been renting Penthouse B for 2 years. Your lease is up for renewal next month. Victoria's eyes widened. Mr. Chun, please, I made a mistake. I'll apologize. You'll find somewhere else to live, Robert said flatly. I don't want people like you in my building. You can't do this. I have rights. I'll sue. Victoria's voice rose to a shriek. Robert's expression didn't change. Read your lease. Section 12, paragraph 4. Tenant agrees to treat all building staff and service personnel with respect and dignity. You violated that clause on camera. My lawyers will have the eviction notice ready by tomorrow. Oh, and about that photo you've been post? Robert held up his phone, showing the security footage. I'm posting this entire interaction to the building's resident portal. All 200 units. Let's see how your social media strategy works when everyone knows the truth about your character. Marcus finally spoke, his voice steady. Ma'am, I still need your signature for the delivery. It's my job. Victoria stared at him, tears streaming down her face, mascara running. With shaking hands, she signed the electronic pad. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Robert turned to Marcus. There's something else you should know. I've been looking for someone to head our new community outreach program. Someone who understands struggle. Someone with real compassion. The position pays $85,000 a year, with full benefits. I'd like you to consider it. Marcus's legs nearly gave out. $85,000? That's more than I make in 2 years of deliveries. Robert smiled, the first genuine smile of the encounter. You'd be coordinating charitable donations, working with struggling families, managing our scholarship fund. Everything you've lived through makes you perfect for it. My daughter, Marcus's voice broke. I could afford her medication, her school. I could give her a real life. Tears streamed down his face. Why would you do this for me? Robert placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Because 3 months ago, you showed me that kindness still exists. Now I'm returning it. Victoria stood frozen, watching this exchange. Watching a man she'd mocked receive the opportunity of a lifetime. Robert turned to her one last time. This is what you missed, Mrs. Ashford. While you were judging his shoes, you failed to see his character. And character is the only thing that truly matters. Victoria walked toward the elevator, her designer heels clicking against the marble. each step a reminder of her shallow values. The elevator doors closed on her tear-stained face. Marcus and Robert stood in the hallway. The package finally delivered, but something far more valuable exchanged between them. "When can I start?" Marcus asked, his voice filled with cautious hope. "Tomorrow," Robert said, "but finish your shift today. Those 12 deliveries you mentioned, complete them with your head held high. You've earned that dignity." Marcus nodded, understanding the lesson. Never let anyone steal your self-worth. As Marcus headed to the elevator, Robert called out, "Marcus, those boots you're wearing, they tell a story of a man who works himself to exhaustion for his daughter, a man who sacrifices his own comfort for others. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be proud of." Marcus looked down at his duct-taped boots. For the first time in months, he didn't see poverty. He saw perseverance. He saw love. He saw a father who never gave up. "Thank you, Mr. Chun, for seeing me when I felt invisible." Robert smiled. We're all invisible until someone chooses to truly look. 3 weeks later, Marcus Williams walked into his new office wearing brand new shoes, but he kept the old duct-tape boots on a shelf behind his desk. A reminder, not of where he'd been, but of who he'd always been, a man whose worth was never determined by what he wore on his feet.